let's dive on into some magic here, huh? Trying out a new standard deck here. So this deck is kind of a mashup of two other different decks that have existed in standard. So Red-Black Sacrifice is a deck that's been around the fringe of the format for a little bit, and it's largely been pushed out by the fact that it has a truly abysmal Sultai Ultimatum matchup. So what this build is looking to do is it's looking to kind of mash in the Goldspan Dragon, Unleashed Fury, Showdown of the Skalds kind of pseudo-combo kill, along with Sejiri Shelter to protect it, into this kind of red-black, Claim the Firstborn, Akroan War, you know, Village Rites, Woe Strider, Rankle, Master of Pranks shell, which seems interesting to me. So the basic idea is that this gives you a treasure even when you target it with your own spells. So if you play it and attack with it, you can have Unleashed Fury that's basically free. And Showdown of the Skalds on 4 lets you play Dragon on 5, attack, and then if you Unleash Fury the Dragon, it'll get a counter from Showdown, and then you'll double it up to 10. And then if you have a second Unleash the Fury, you can double it up to 22. So you can theoretically hit people for 22 on turn 5 with this deck. Obviously, it requires a pretty specific combination of cards, but, you know, turns 5, 6, 7, you can use things like Unleash the Fury and Showdown to have that happen somewhat consistently. And this deck is drawing, you know, you draw 4 cards with this, you draw extra cards with Village Rites, so, like, you're seeing some extra copies of cards, so you're not super inconsistent at doing that. And we also have a couple copies of Kazuul's Fury down here in our spell lands. That's basically 3 mana Fling. So it lets you take a giant dragon and throw it at your opponent after you've stacked some counters on it with Skalds. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how this kind of Mardu or red-black splash white Fling deck does. I don't know if Claim makes us the baddies in standard. This archetype's actually pretty Red-Black Sack is not overbearing in standard, in large part because of Sultai Ultimatum. It is not too late to get to Mythic for the event. So Mythic runs on seasons, so that are calendar month. So you have until the end of March to finish in the top 1200 theoretically. All right, really, I was gonna say we really need a 4th land, but that's actually not true, right? I could just play this Kazuul's Fury tapped. You get card rewards for making Mythic. Yeah. Do we want to Akroan War this? It feels like most roads lead to Rome here. I didn't catch how low our opponent mulliganed at the start, but looks like it was pretty low. Oh, yeah, I guess they can do that. Discarded Life Body is actually pretty good. It might have been right. Just Skalds last turn. Well, I guess this way they don't have this on a lifelinker, which is good for us. Hey, that's another Fury. So are we going to get to do the... We're going to do the hit them for 22 thing next turn that we talked about in the deck, huh? We'll get to Dragon, Fury, Fury with the Skalds trigger. So this makes us pay, makes our sources deal 1 less and makes us pay 1 more. Oh wait, I don't even need to do this untapped, right? So we'll put this into play tapped. And then we'll go ahead and we attack. So we get a treasure. And then we get to stomp. Doesn't really matter what we stomp breaks. We just have to cast it. Oh no, it does matter what we stomp because I need the mana. Right. Okay. So we stomp this to get a 1/1 counter on it. Then we unleash Fury this. So this is gonna go to 12. And then we're going to hit them for 20. It'll be 26. Which will be 25 with their shield thing here. It's a large dragon. Yay! We did the thing game 1. Ewan Punk, thank you for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Morning. Who donated for meme day? Isn't every day meme day? The Spiteful sounds lovely in this matchup, huh? What are we trimming here? Nightmare's probably a little slow. Is Akroan War good? I guess it makes all their things deals damage to themselves, which is probably pretty reasonable. Maybe we trim the Rankles, because they can block it, so it's not a very good sacrifice outlet. Good morning, Dude Light. Happy Thursday to you. Thank you for the pile of sub-gifties. Welcome to our newest members of Hoaglandia. Thanks for sharing. Good morning. You think I'm happy with this? Seems good. Gold present hype. Yeah, Paulo, there's a reason why we time people out for anti-shuffler nonsense. Oh, you know what? I should probably do this on their turn, right? So that way, if they want to discard a card to save it, it has to get tapped. This is technically bad sequencing. I was thinking it doesn't matter because they're going to sack the dog, but in the event that they don't sack the dog here, and they discard a card, I'd rather this get tapped on their turn. Yeah, this was taking a little extra damage here. think we're dead to that. We're gonna beat Army Angels with Reidane and play, making all of our stuff cost more. Announcement stream. Help a boomer out. What's an announcement stream? A stream where you announce you have an announcement. That sounds like Wizards. First day of spoilers. Well, that's not true. We had 2 Planeswalkers spoiled already. Yeah, this looks fun. Meetings about meetings. Yeah, and the list of command cards too. Yeah, I saw people posting they have a bunch of reveals and stuff to do. Which that makes sense. Do I play this tapped, or do I just step on this giant killer? I feel like there's value in stepping on the giant killer right away. I haven't made a firm decision on what format we're doing for Hoots. We might be changing it to Historic. Village Rites. Village Rites. Alright, I'll take another Bonecrusher Giant. We're looking for like any land next turn. I guess we're looking specifically for a white land on the line. Although Goldspan Dragon being able to do this is nice. Yeah, we're getting a Runeterra patch Tuesday. They are still on the every 2-week schedule. Well, that's rude. That's like really good here, huh? So I was thinking about it, and yeah, that card's gonna win them the game, huh? No play here is huge. So we're gonna use Claim the Firstborn to cast a Bonecrusher Giant, I think. Is a play I need to make here. I don't think I can afford to not use my mana this turn. Sorry, so Strixhaven, in addition to being a normal standard set, is getting what they're calling mythic something or others that are basically, there are a bunch of cards from Magic's history with, being printed into booster packs with different, yeah, Mystical Archive, that's the word I was searching for, yeah. Shui, thank you for the 15 months, I appreciate that, welcome back. And so there's going to be 63 of those, and 56 of the 63 of them will be on Magic Arena and legal and historic. So, in addition to getting a new standard set, it's basically like we're getting a giant historic anthology as well. And while some of those 56 will also be cards that are already standard legal, some amount of them will be new. Oh, shit, this stops Skalds too. Wow. I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah, we're super dead, huh? Brutal. That's rough. Yeah, wow, that card's really good against these adventure decks, huh? Yeah, so there's 6. We know 3 Mystical Archive cards so far. Swords to Plowshares and Demonic Tutor, and we know those 2 are not coming to Historic. So there's 7 of the 63 that are not coming to Historic. And then Opt is the 3rd one that's obviously already in Historic. So if there's a bunch of sweet Mystical Archives, I might rather just do Historics. Like, if I'm being completely honest, are we really expecting anything out of Strixhaven to shake up Standard all that much? I don't really think I am. And like, Standard is so pushed at the moment from Eldraine that like most Standard decks port pretty easily and cleanly to Historic. So like, if you have a Standard deck you like playing, you can almost assuredly play it in Historic with minimal changes. So, answer cards aren't really as simple as saying this card's OP, so much as answer cards make formats more narrow. So when you print a card like Swords to Plowshares, it suddenly makes, you know, the litmus test for like what's a playable creature changes dramatically. I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait and see. I'm not gonna put the actual sign-up page up for the Hooglandia Open. I might even wait till a week before so we can have a full spoiler and see what's going on. There really isn't a huge reason for me to put the sign-up page up super far in advance, so. Wow, they're just on, like, Raven's Crime the deck, huh? Well, I mean, in a way, them not having a target here is good for us, because it means that they won't be able to escape Woe Strider next turn, or won't be able to escape Kroxa before my Conqueror's Death exiles it. I think I'm putting this into play tapped, and then, well, this needs 4 to escape, right? Huh? Am I hitting them with Rankle and making us both draw? I kind of think I'm on the Rankle draw plan. Yeah, the majority of people register the week of is correct. Putting up signups pretty far in advance doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. We'll see, Geddix. Maybe this fall. If I still have hair by then. Well, they can't claim Rankle, right? It's a 4-drop. But yeah, I think if the Mystical Archives are sweet and or they ban something out of Cat Oven, and if they finally ban Cat Oven, I feel like it's a great excuse to it'd be a great excuse to do some more Historic. We're doing a read on the iPad today. We are not. draw. I think I'm playing Sejiri Shelter as a tap land here. I think I want to be able to... I think I'd rather draw a card with my utility land. And I want to have mana in play, because Skalds gets a lot better if you have mana in play. Like drawing a card with this and then stopping something here. Third red sounds lovely. Yeah, I should start scrying. Are we gonna get double stomped? Feels like double stomp. I guess if I kept the claim there, I could claim the Bonecrusher, and then I'd have enough cards to escape Woe Strider. The problem is, if they choose instead of playing Bonecrusher to, like, escape a Cling to Dust, I'd get in trouble. Well, I guess there's still 2 cards off of that, so maybe that was the right line to keep the claim. This isn't terrible. This draw means that I can escape Woe Strider here, which is reasonable. That's definitely a play. So funny. Just like pokes his head in and looks around. Well, this isn't a scry. It just bins the top card of their deck each turn. Sure, this isn't like amazing, but it's definitely better than a random. Are we the bad guy? No, we're playing Standard. This archetype's the good guy in Standard. I would love a draw 4 chat. There's no heroes in Standard. You know, honestly, that's probably the truth at this point. Yeah, these 3 are lethal through a blocker. And honestly, their spot removal is probably Heartless Act. So there's a good chance they just can't... They can't really do anything, because we just, like, stomp and put counters on it in response. Innkeeper's the standard hero. What? Get out of here. Definitely the Elspeth's Nightmare coming in here. Honestly, Bonecrusher Giant seems kind of mediocre. I think I'll take Skyclave Shade because it grinds a little bit. Yeah, I think that's completely true, Silver. I'm not really expecting the decks that are good to change with a new set to happen. Which is why I'm leaning towards just doing more historic. For the Hooglandia tournament. Standard hasn't had a hero since Hero of the Precinct 1 rotated, but I think Magic standard format would be more interesting if we used a last in, first out. Well, that's not true. If we just, I think standards should just always have the same number of cards in it. Same number of sets. There's like always be 8 sets and all sets should be legal for 2 years. We just do this right away again. Just work our way up towards exiling their graveyard before they get anything too scary online from it. I take the one that lets them exile kill just my thing. Yeah, I also don't think I ever expect them to try anything new with standard because they failed once and they're not likely to take another risk, I don't think. Playing the Kroxa right before I exile their graveyard's a bold strategy. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I don't even know that, like, Eldraine cards are the issue, D-Beard. Like, if you got rid of a bunch of Eldraine cards, it wouldn't really impact, like, the Ultimatum deck, right? Like, adventures aren't overbearing in Standard, really. Do I Rankle or do I Skalds? I feel like I'm supposed to just Showdown because they're playing Mind Rot. Wow, no lands and 4 cards is brutal. Playing 27 land deck. Okay, well. Okay. Hitting the land was huge there. Getting 2 cards out of that was pretty important. I'd rather have a red or a black leftover. I think I'd rather have a red leftover. That lets me claim the Firstborn. Lets me push a ton of damage. This one I'll lose if I don't play it, so let's play this one. Sure, problem. I'm not saying that always having the same number of sets is like a perfect solution or like it fixes every problem with the game. Someone just asked what would my ideal standard rotation look like, and that would be it. You also could do a one set in, one set out, and not have it be 8 sets. You could have every time a set gets added, you cut a set and have it be only, you know, have it be only 6 sets or 7 sets or however many you want it to be. Eight sets would just mean nothing's legal for less time than is currently legal now, and a bunch of things would be legal longer. Like Magic's current rotation cycle means that that's what I'm searching for. Magic's current rotation cycle means that some sets are legal for 24 months and some sets are only legal for 15 months. Now, one nice upside to this deck that we're currently playing is that it should have a pretty okay rogues matchup. We got a bunch of escape idiots, and I've got the Stalker, Skyclaves, and the Kroxas in the board too. Past our Woe Striders in the main. Yeah, what Mistake by the Lake said is exactly correct. The current rotation cycle that Magic had made a lot of sense when every calendar year was a 3-set block plus a core set. And now that we no longer have 3-set blocks plus a core set, the current rotation cycle doesn't really make any sense. There's no reason why rotation works the way it does currently based on the current set release plans that they have. We beat Rogues with Grixis yesterday too. It was very satisfying. Felt good, man. Nice, nice. Pretty sure we just step on. Let these yield Enforcer. While them putting cards in our graveyard is like good for these, they're gonna do that regardless. I don't want them to mill us too much. So, they didn't stop using the block system because it was inherently bad, is my understanding, so much as having a rigid block system restricted the flexibility that they had in terms of designs. I don't think getting rid of the block system was inherently a bad thing. I think it was probably fine. I think them giving themselves the flexibility to structure how they want to structure, I think, is probably a great thing overall. Okay, so now we're on attack with Bonecrusher Giants and escape Woe Striders every turn for the rest of the game plan. You know, I probably should have played this tapped the turn I played the Bonecrusher Giant. Well, that just worked. Deal arena. I guess their plan is just race us in the air. I don't know that I'm gonna cover the reveal stream. I really don't like how Magic does spoiler season. It's very piecemeal and unsatisfying in my opinion. I'm not a fan, generally speaking. Ah, yes, the patented tank best possible play. A rogue player tried and true classic. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have done things like that in the past, James, but if I'm being honest, the reason why I was doing them in the past was because Magic had formats that largely weren't worth playing, in my opinion. And I was trying to just fill in Magic content despite that. But yeah, I think with Magic having formats worth playing, I'm not really interested in covering stuff like that. The way Magic, the average Magic spoiler is like really just like Magic has so many shitty cards in it, right? Like there's most of Magic spoiler season is like this card's bad, this card's an EDH card, this card's a limited card, like from the purpose of like, there's a lot of cards where as a constructed player, the cards are very explicitly not designed for me. They're designed for someone else. But I'd rather have Duress or Nightmare. I think I'd actually rather have Nightmare probably, huh? Thanks for the 7 months, Blue Cactus. Welcome back. It does not surprise me in the slightest that Magic Arena's mobile release is not available on all Android devices because I assume it takes a very serious amount of processing power and that only higher-end devices will be able to enjoy it. Sure, I'm not saying Magic shouldn't, and just for the record, because some idiot out there is going to take what I just said and twist it to what I just said. I don't think it's a bad thing that Magic designs for lots of different people and has lots of cards for lots of different ways to play the game. As I've often said, variety of game modes is one of the best things about Magic. However, it does just mean that by and large, most spoilers are unexciting for most people. Like when you're trying to serve all these different groups of people, if I'm a constructed-only player or an EDH-only player or whatever, there's a large swath of cards every set that just aren't applicable to you. Definitely in for keeping the second red here. Let's this Dragon, let's this Kroxa. Curriton Sheet, thanks for the 30 months. And to compare what Magic does to Runeterra too, so like during Runeterra's spoiler season, I was posting daily spoiler review videos, but something really key that Runeterra does differently if you haven't played Runeterra or you haven't seen their spoiler season before, Runeterra's spoiler season, they release groups of cards that are related to each other every single day. And something that I've often said while playing games here on stream is that context is key, right? Like, knowing what other cards go with something helps you understand if that card might be playable. So, like, when Runeterra releases a champion and a bunch of followers for that champion, it lets me really be able to evaluate on the spot much better, hey, what could this champion do and what's the context around it, because they've released the contextual cards around it at the same time in the spoiler. Whereas for Magic, when we get a spoiler, it's like one Planeswalker, or one red card, or one blue card, and it's basically impossible to know, well, what are the details surrounding this, because you just don't have the information that you need to make that evaluation. And obviously part of that works a little bit better in Runeterra because of how there tend to be a lot of cards centered around specific champions. I guess Magic could release like groups of cards or like groups of colors, but like that's a pretty key difference in why like what I was doing for Runeterra spoiler season just really doesn't apply to Magic. Runeterra doesn't do creator reveals, but like you could do creator reveals and still do it the same way as Runeterra does. Just like have creators all release the same group of cards the same day. Yeah, that's a great example, Charizard. It's like when when Innkeeper gets spoiled, but we don't have all the adventure cards yet. Yeah, revealing all the adapt cards together, exactly. Yeah, releasing cycles. And they kind of did that this season, right? Like they gave us all the commands together. So like that type of thing is like basically what I'm talking about. Thanks for the 21 months, Boston. I appreciate the tier 3 at that. Yeah, and for people that want, I will do a spoiler review at some point. It's just not going to be every day. So once we get the full spoiler out, usually it's like a week in advance, I'll do a dedicated spoiler stream segment where instead of reviewing every card, I'll pull up just the cards that from the full set context I think might be playable in standard or historic, and I'll send that up in like 1 hour, hour and a half review segment that we'll do live, and then it'll go to YouTube. So it's not that I'm going to ignore the spoilers and just play with the cards. It's just doing it piecemeal really doesn't work with the way Magic spoilers formats work. I think this is a pretty easy mulligan, right? No spot removal to start. We have all of our colors of mana, which is kind of appealing, but like I really want like a Bonecrusher or a Heartless Act or something to start, I think. Well, this is where the magic happens, chat. I really wish this stupid... That oops was unintentional. I'm gonna lead on Brightclimb Pathway, so this way if I draw a Village Rites, I can claim this and Village Rites it. So, Silver Oak, I think another important thing to take away from, and this is something that's important in just kind of internet discussions in general, is that, nailed it, never didn't have it, so like, the criticism that I just leveled at, I don't even know if it's fair to criticism, the description that I just made of why Magic spoilers formatting doesn't work for me personally, you'll notice what I didn't say anywhere in there was I didn't say it was bad or that it needed to change. So like, I don't want you to take me saying, hey, this doesn't work for what I did with this other game to say, mean Wizards needs to do this differently to appease me, because that wasn't my intention. My goal with what I did there was just me trying to be descriptive of why what I did with Runeterra doesn't work with Magic. And that doesn't mean the way Magic does it is bad or needs to change. It's just exactly that. It's me saying, hey, I did this with Runeterra, and this is why I did it with Runeterra, and this is why it doesn't work with Magic. So like the underlying implication there is not my intended underlying, like what you're hinting that I'm implying wasn't my intended thing to imply. But don't read that into it. What time roughly will be on Historic? Sometime between 20 minutes from now and 45 minutes from now. Drop. Unfortunately, have a counter spell. Stomp their face, otherwise we lose this. These two are going away. This land next turn will let us escape Woe Strider, and then I have another Claim the Firstborn in hand, so that's nice. Yeah, Nier was good yesterday. We're wrapping up on Mythgard today. We're going to be back to Nier tomorrow afternoon for sure. Well, again, I think you're missing the kind of the point of what I was saying, Silver Oak. Like, just because something doesn't work for me doesn't mean it's bad. Again, like, the fact that Magic has to serve so many different people is a real thing. This is the part where they just like counterspell the thing I'm casting every turn for the rest of the game and then I die, right? We haven't had communication from Mythgard on when their last codes are coming up, unfortunately, no. Wish they had some more clarity on that. This is where the magic happens. Alright, if this resolves... I get to Elspeth's Nightmare, the other one. They've cast 3 Drown Locks. Do you have the 4th and 25 cards? Didn't say please. Yep. Showdown. Showdown is actually a really bad draw. We're down to 21 cards in our deck. Maybe I should board those out, actually. That's probably the case. This probably shouldn't be in my deck. I don't know. We might, honestly, we might just be a historic stream moving forward for the time being. Standard's been kind of poopy the last couple of days. Rogues, like, I know historic has the Jund Sack decks in it, but honestly, the Jund Sack decks are way more attackable than Rogues is in Standard. It's just such a toxic experience. Historic's been a lot more in terms of content too. Like, I posted 1 standard deck video and 2 historic deck videos the last 2 days, and the standard videos underperformed the historic videos both days in a row. So people on my channel definitely prefer to watch historic. It's just like another Rogues deck. All right, let's go play historic. I really just don't feel like our deck probably doesn't even have that bad of a matchup against Rogues. It just like isn't fun to play against. It's like none of your shit resolves and you get milled in addition to getting attacked. Sure, Corrosion, cycling's still plenty playable, but like the goal of my stream here isn't to fire up my stream and play cycling 6 days a week. Like people that want to watch like a best deck stream are gonna like tune into like Crokeys or someone else, and past that, I don't want to play the same deck every day, right? And like playing random brews in standard just like hasn't been a super exciting or engaging experience. There's definitely it feels like there's more unfun decks that I feel like I want to just concede to in standard right now than there are in historic. But like in terms of making interesting, varied content, standard doesn't really feel like it allows that to be the case. So this felt kind of blah. Standard in general has felt kind of blah. So I think we might just be on historic until the next set. Honestly, it might just make sense to be on historic till rotation. I'm pretty ready for Eldraine to just like buck off into the sun.